everyone, today we're going to talk something very interesting for you guys because I haven't talked for so long. Today we have no electric shock or no electrocution videos, probably, because they're too dangerous. And basically, I made my own magnetic starter, this one. This one is called a magnetic starter used for air conditioner. Ooh. Oh. Basically, I need to keep this into the box because my switch start to usable. So I waste my money on this piece of junk. But anyway, later we dismantle that. Today we are talk about something very interesting. So it's a vintage item. So we're gonna talk about use it for that. And also we have some problem here. Although we have funds, but it doesn't matter. Alright, so I basically have few of the fan regulator. They are vintage strap lah, okay? So the first thing to do is we're gonna be show you the type of fan regulator because I want more. I haven't bypassed at the store because they also complain about the fan getting slow. I also forget to bypass, but thankfully they doesn't complain. But I will do that later. So these are all the fan regulator that I have. They are vintage one. But these are probably new one. Yeah, so here I have two different type of fan regulator. They are called transformer fan regulator. Each of them they are older and one of them they are newer. So newer we call electronic regulator or electronic controller. These are used for mainly for ceiling fan, but not the remote control ceiling fan like last time. Probably not, because remote control fan are designed to work with remote control, not fan regulator. Because Salang fan has used regulator before, now it becomes slow a bit because they stress the capacitor. But anyway, because now we're doing interesting videos, so let's get started. So now we first gonna do is we're gonna see what this regulator for. So the first one is 1970. These two are 1970. And this one is 2001. So I have 1990s one. Come out, where's the 1990s fan regulator? Let me demonstrate. I don't think I have a 1970 fan regulator in my collection. Probably have, but getting less. So let me find the thingy. Bingo! There it is in my box. What the hell is it? Oh, what the hell is it? Okay, I need to shit, maybe a bunch of the starter button. This what the hell is it? Fluorescent light. There we go. This is a UMS 1990s fan regulator. It's a brand new one. These are 1990s one. Alright. So I have now I have 4 different type of fan regulator to compare with, but sorry about the ceiling fan. I don't have a ceiling fan. I just buy a simply fan regulator because I'm very interested about switches. That's why I have my setup of vintage switches over here. So this is my vintage switch section. So there are basically my section over here that I display vintage electrical wiring. How old houses are wired without breakers and fuses, without any grounding wire. So I will demonstrate and no grounding wire over there because at the time we don't have ground. So and also I have fuse to compare with. Alright, so thinking of that, let's take a start. So for this, I'm gonna use my very high quality screwdriver that I buy yesterday because basically you have a reason. So now let's take a look at the newest one. So now these two we put it apart because maybe we'll have part 2 video for the fan regulator. Today we are talking about the newest generation of electronic regulator. Electronic regulator have few different types. So today in this video we're going to talk about electronic fan regulator. Electronic fan regulator we have a few different types with different models and different setup. One of the model is they are only input and output. So I don't think I have that to keep inside anyway.
What the hell is it? What the hell is it? Maybe I just throw it away. Because there is an electronic step regulator. They are not step regulator, they are dimmer. So they also type of switches. Dimmer? Where the hell is my dimmer? Okay, wait for a while because I need to check for the dimmer. Alright, so today we are talking about electronic regulator. So regulator have different type. I already say this is the electronic dimmer switch. Also you can say a fan regulator because these are used for fan controlling. So and they come with very different type. Like this one is for replacement type for my older switches. They are designed to replace, but I don't think I have that switches because they are mostly broken. Maybe I need to buy a new one for my purpose. Alright, so for this is a switch. Wow. So I don't think I have that switch left in my collection. The type of switches that I have used before, they are called a socket lah, because I basically use that socket for first lah. Anyway, it gone. So maybe the switches that I replaced from my house, they are mostly broken because the switches were single, like getting old, they are quite a bit of yellow, but single press is went to pieces. So but I buy that switches, they're also free because at the time I buy when this house was built, they actually say this switch is free. I think they install the switches too much. They maybe free this switch for you because you are installing the whole house switches, like 10 or 40 switches in my house, maybe, because I don't know. So they free the switch. This switch is standardly for replacement lah, but anyway, I have a dimmer from my home upstairs with the light one, but they are useless. I never use that. So this switch are basically very simple, like moving switch, and the speed control only live here. So basically inside this thing there are nothing inside. There don't have neutral wire connection. They're just circuit board, printed circuit board. How this works is something in this thing that act as a resistor. Like when you use this, when you turn, the potentiometer will increase or decrease the resistance. So this will maybe let the fan turn, high speed, low speed, whatever. Alright, so these are pretty genius, I know, because the switch is used to dim fan, not light, because in the original say this switch are used for lighting, but I don't think this thing used for fan. Anyway, now let's go to these two regulator. These two maybe have different type of variation because they are stayed in two different years. They are made in 2 different years. So, and this type of electronic regulator is the best electronic regulator for decades. But anyway, so now we're gonna take apart these two fan regulators to see what's different. Alright, two regulator is almost the same, but you can see here they have a difference between these. You can see this 1990s one have a much bigger capacitor, while these newer anyway, I forgot the name. They are called KDK brand, made by Masus. Anyway, I forget the name, but anyway, so this is a brand made by, this regulator is made by KDK, and it's a very soft sound, like that, not like Panasonic. Panasonic have louder click. So for this one, they have a smaller capacitor. So these are called electronic. These are permanently electronic because this might be have a printed circuit board inside and filled with this cement on there. This cement is to protect from dust and shit and get inside to break down the circuit. Most are circuit board inside this thing, because if the fan regulator is relatively small, there might be a printed circuit board. If you see, look at this, these have a much larger capacitor. These are much larger because we already say electronic regulator. This is electronic. So you can see the wiring diagram here. There are capacitor, resistor, and diodes. So these are printed diodes and resistor. They already print how things are wired. So this thing basically is electronic because they have circuit board and printed capacitor, printed resistor inside. While this one is a bit of different. Let me take it apart. There we go. You can see this size is much larger than the capacitor, and this one is a capacitor because it's rated CBB61. It's a capacitor. This is a capacitor. These are not electronic regulator. These are capacitor regulator. This is what we call electronic regulator because they have this printed circuit board inside and filled it with cement. But this one is a 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 6 microfarad capacitor. It means one of the wire is plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and one of the wire is also 3. 3 is time for the lower setting of the thing. 3 is already the lower, so they're plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 until 5 speed. 5 speeds don't need this capacitor anymore. These are capacitor type fan regulator because they're rated CBB61. CBB61 is a capacitor. So this type of you call a semi-capacitor regulator. So for this, actually 3 plus 1 plus 1 equal 6 microfarad total. What the fuck am I doing? Sorry, maybe I mixed up. You can see they say 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. The problem is you can see that 3 plus 1 plus 1 equals 6 microfarad. No. These type of capacitor are rated different. This capacitor is 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1.6 microfarad. So in total, we need to calculate how many microfarad this thing has. What the fuck is that? Anyway. Total is 6.6 microfarad. For this capacitor, it's rated 6.6 microfarad. Can let the fan spin slower than usual. So this thing is the voltage is rated 450 volts. This thing can actually kill you. Probably not. Alright, so it's a plus 5%, plus and minus 5%, and there are works of 60 hertz. Yeah, and this thing also have a serial number over here, but we doesn't read the serial number. This is a capacitor type fan regulator, and this one is electronic regulator. Let me take apart the capacitor for you, Okay. So look here. You can see the capacitor between these two are different value. See, the size is different and the thickness also different. Look at these. These are more compact and more eco-friendly. They will not really get hot. Although you can see they have resistor and capacitor, resistor, capacitor. So this thing have a built-in 2.3 microfarad capacitor and 3.9 ohm resistor between the white, yellow, and red. And they also add the 3.2 microfarad capacitor, black on 4.6 microfarad and microfarad capacitor and 3.9 ohm resistor. This basically is electronic regulator because you can see they strongly suggest capacitor resistor. Because most of these we don't have resistor, they are semiconductor inside. So these don't have resistor, operated their capacitor. So for this 1990 is not the electronic regulator because they didn't write any about electronic regulator or whatever. These are capacitor regulator. These are electronic regulator. You know now? So now, in the next video, we're going to talk about iron core transformer regulator. Stay tuned for the next part. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.